Hi, good morning. Welcome to the parrot video. I'm going to show you in this video how to watercolor a parrot. And we're going to be using a lot of wet paint on dry paper techniques, and introducing you to some dry brushing as well. So I'm going to just use a pencil. You don't have to do this step, but I think it may be helpful. I've also tried it where I just went straight into the paint and did what I'm doing right now. But so I'm going to, you have a half sheet of paper, by the way, which means you might need to do this more than once. So if you wanted to try again, I thought it would save on paper, and this doesn't have to be too big anyway. So I'm going to start up here and kind of make an S shape. So I'm making mine kind of dark so you can see it, but the lighter the better on this. So kind of an S. So this will be the head and the body. And then about this far down, maybe about a third of the way, maybe about a little more than halfway up the belly, I'm going to make a great big parrot wing, kind of like a teardrop shape. Okay, and it will be going on top of this and adding to our shapes. And then right down here, the cool tail, maybe it's going off the paper. I kind of like to leave things off the paper sometime. And then that's all you will have to draw in. So this is the drawing. And if yours looks slightly different than mine, don't worry. We're mostly gonna focus on color here. All right, so I wanna work light to dark always. Yellow being my lightest color. And I'm going kind of quickly here because I need to keep the video short, but feel free to always pause. So I'm starting with a nice, clean, thin, hopefully you have one of these green brushes. I think they work pretty well. Wet brush. And then now my paints. In the past, I've said like put tons of water and we want it to go all over the paper and stuff. This is different. We really don't want much water in our paints, just enough so we can move the paint around the paper. So I'm going to take my first lightest color, this yellowy orange. This one does not work as well. This yellowy orange next to the light green. And I'm just going to kind of give it a first coat of yellow all over that S line I make. And see, I'm making this like kind of flicking motion. That's how I'm going to make it look like feathers. I'm lightly flicking my paintbrush across the paper. And then also I want a yellow section in the middle here of this wing. So I'm dipping in my paint again, no water though. My paint is wet, so I don't need to add more water. And I'm going to do a yellow section of feathers, going that same flicking motion, letting my brush get fairly dry as I get out to the edge. And just kind of filling in that yellow section on the wing. Okay, so that's all the yellow I'm going to use. I'm now going to switch to my red. So I'm going to do the red on the head coming into the belly. It will mix a little with this yellow and look orange. And see, I don't have a lot of water in here. This is not a lot. So all the water you need probably is in your brush. And that might even be too much. You can always dab off too to get a drier brush and more paint. Okay, so now I'm going to start up at the top of the head and kind of just continue that little flicking motion. I'm going to come down here into the wing for the neck. And this is just our first coat, so it doesn't have to, we're going to do this more than once. This will be around the side of the face. You can kind of see my pencil line showing through there, which is why I wanted to do it right into paint, but I thought this might be a little easier for you. Okay, so you see the red is pretty light. So to get more paint on my paper, I'm again going to go into the very dry red, trying to get as much paint. Don't kill your brush, but you want to rub it around in that dry paint. And I'm going to go one more time using that feather, making those feathers with my red paint. And I'm going to let that dry. We can go back at the end. I'm going to use red at the end again and add more. Okay. And I kind of want to just use a wet brush to just blend this a little better here. I get that orangey. Okay, so now onto the wing. So yellow is our transition color here because yellow can go with cool, yellow can go with warm. So my cool color is my blue. The bottom of their feathers are that really beautiful blue. So in the same blue we've used, and again, look, it's not a lot of water. My brush is fairly dry. And I'm gonna start at the bottom. It comes to kind of a point, and just keep doing those lines, going over the white part first. Then you can start working back up into that yellow, and you should get like a really cool kind of some greens happening, but don't cover up all the yellow. Okay. And if this blue is not dark enough for you, there is this blue. So you could go the blue right next to the white. I wouldn't use a lot. Just kind of dip it in, use the tip of your brush, and you could add some of that darker blue in there to get a little more contrast. All right, working quickly. I'm gonna rinse my brush. Now I'm changing to red, so I don't really want purple. So I'm gonna make sure this brush is clean. Go back up to my red. It's still a little too wet for me, but that's okay. Just trying to get in that drier paint there. And then go outline this top of the wing. And you're gonna do the same thing, that flicking motion, and it hopefully will go into that yellow below. See, I don't have much water on my paper. You don't want puddles. If you get puddles, remember you can always dab it off with the paper towel. Like I said, you can probably have more than one piece of paper if that's okay with your teacher, because you may need to try this. I've tried this a few times. I don't just do these things off the top of my head. We even practiced in Miss Inguiano's class today. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I can always go back. Staying with my red now, I'm gonna put some red on the tail. And again, my brush is pretty dry. So I'm just gonna put some, it goes into that blue a little bit. That's kind of cool, you get a purpley. So my red, maybe give it more coat, and then I'm gonna put a little more of that same blue. I didn't rinse my brush, I should have at the bottom. Okay, and I might get a wet brush and just kind of blend this a little better. And then I'm going to use some of this same dark blue and just using the tip of my brush so you're using it almost like a pencil. I'm going to put some blue feet. I don't know why my parrot had blue feet. I just thought it looked kind of funny and cooler than black, but you know, I don't like black. All right. So at this point you could draw a tree, sky, whatever, but we've got to finish the beak. So you probably should let this dry if you can before you do the beak, because we don't want to use black and get it running into everything. I see one thing here. I'm just going to get that one more coat on the top of the wing because I feel like it's not standing out from the body enough. Okay, clean brush. I'm going to quickly draw in my beak. You could, once this is dry, mine is wet because of the video, but yours should be dry. I'm kind of drawing this like hook shape, coming back up, and then going back into this. There, okay. So at this point, you could Sharpie it. That would be great, and draw a little eye. It would save you from using the black paint, which I'm going to show you how to do now. If you're very confident with the black paint, you can go for it. Again, super dry, like I hardly have any water in here. And I'm just going to kind of dry brush in using the tip of my brush. I'm leaving a little white in the middle, painting this in. If it's not dark enough, you could always go back and add a little more of the dark. Again, be super careful with black. It just really can destroy a painting quickly. And then I'm going to get all that black off my brush here. So this is a really dry brush, and this could be risky, but I'll show you. You can put little kind of feathers. They have those kind of black feathers on their faces. I might have gone a little darker on that black, but that's okay. And then I'm going to just draw in my eye. Kind of like a little dot in their eye. You could, if you really want to be extra, which I usually do. You could put a little green in that eye, but it could go everywhere, so be careful. All right, so I would just kind of let that sit. You can go back, look at the photos, see if you want to add anything, but don't overwork it. Don't do too much where it gets to the point where you got a big junked up pile of mess. So I had fun doing art with you this year. Always come by and say hello, and have a great summer if I don't see you. And I hope you had fun with the parrot.